and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make yourself a lovely quilled mirror or a picture frame if you wanted to do it as a picture frame, but this is just something that I found from the pound shop and I wanted to decorate it, and I've just done it with all different types of flowers and leaves and scrolls. I've put together some of the other flowers, I'm about to put them together, and then I'll refer you back to some other tutorials that I've already done. It's really easy to do. It's a bit time consuming because you've got to make quite a few flowers and leaves and things. If you don't want to do the full thing like I have, you can just do part of it. That was the original intent. I was just going to do sort of like one side of it, and then I realised I'd made enough flowers to cover the whole thing. I think I were a bit worried that we're going to run out to do it, but then when I've got them out, you'll see there was quite a lot, and I'm like, oh, they'll cover the entire thing. So I've just gone for that, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. So right, so we're going to make this little flower. It looks a bit like a daffodil to me. So these ones are already dried, but I'm going to show you how to put them together. So I'm just taking, I think it was half a strip I did for each of the petals, and it's gone missing. So anyway, and I've just made a tight coil. I think it was actually one full strip, depending on how big you want them, is whether if you use half a strip or a full strip. And then I've got that done in the yellow, and then all I did was take the back of my brush, or you could even use the back of your quilling tool. So you just need to make a tight coil. Yeah, it all fits in a little bit better. You're just making a tiny little dome shape, or you can use quilling mould if you've got one of those. And then all we're going to do is we're going to pinch them and make them into a domed eye sort of a shape. See there? Just like that. And then, whoop, I've got hot glue strands all over my desk because I've been filming another video and they always get stuck. Put a bit of glue in and then just use a brush to spread it around, then you let that dry. So you need 6 of those. So I've got that, and then I've got another tight coil with just a bit of a paler yellow. Either want half strip or a full strip, whichever you want to do, because it depends on how big you want them to be. And you're going to do the same sort of thing, but we need to make a cone. So if you've got one of these, it does make it a little bit easier, but you don't have to use this. So we're basically just going to make the trumpet part of the daffodil. Ooh, what is there? Go away, fly. This piece here. So you can use your fingers or a paintbrush or something, but I'm just using my mould because that's what I've got. Excuse the barking dog that's out. That's not mine. Mine's in the house being nice and quiet for me, but I've got them on the estate and there's some that just bark all the time. There we go. If you want it to go a little bit further out, you can always just take something that's a bit more small and then just get right into the middle and then put some glue in and spread it around like the petal shape. Okay, so and then you let it dry, but I'm going to show you how to pop it together, and I waited till that all the pieces were dry when I were doing these ones, but obviously for video I'm wanting to work a little bit quicker. So I'm just going to take some Clow 3D glue gel, or you could use silicone glue if that's what, and just take a little blob, not a lot. I'll bring it closer up to the camera so you can see. Okay, and then I put my cone in first, and then I just took each of the petals and I pushed them into the side and got them to the angle I wanted them to go. It's a little bit hard trying to do this up in the air so that you can see what I'm doing, but the good thing with the glue gel is it takes a while to dry, so you have got time to, what I call, faff around with it and get it how you want it to go. Tweezers are a good thing to help for getting these in position. Now if you want to get them done in a hurry, you could use a glue gun, but just be careful that you don't go and burn yourself. So you want your domes facing upwards. So obviously your daffodil's that shape. But once you've got them sort of all in, you can get them exactly how you want them to go. Now if I'd have got my tweezers ready, which I should have done, it would have made things a little bit easier, but I managed to do it anyway. So as you can see, we've got a dimension now. You'd need to wait for that to completely dry for you to be able to do the next step, which is, so I've just taken one off, and as you can see, the glue's completely dry. So I've got off there. Glue's gone completely dry. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut as close as I can to the glue, the card, just so that it has that base for me to be able to stick it onto our piece of work. There we go. You're not going to see the underneath of it, so it doesn't matter how ugly it is under there. Just try and get it as close as you can without snipping your pieces of paper, and then that's how you make this flower. So the next flower we're going to make is this one. Looks a bit like a daisy, but I've done it in purple, and we just need to make 6 of these little eye shapes. 1, 2, so I've got 5 already made there. So I'm just using half a strip. Again, depending on how big you want your flowers to be is how much you actually use of your strip. I want them to be nice little dainty delicate flowers, so I'm just using half strips. Then I'm just letting it uncoil, not too much. Let's take some glue. Then you need to pinch at either end. Like that. Okay, so you get your marquise, horse's eye, eye shape, whatever you want to call it. So you need 6 of those per flower. And the way that I like to stick them together, I put them into pairs first. So as you can see, I've got one set of pairs already. So you're making 3 sets of 2. Let's put a little bit of glue on the side of one at the bottom, and then pop the other one. It's easier to do it on the table, so apologies if you can't see very well, but there's no way of doing it that's easier, holding it up in the air. So there we go, and you just push them together at the bottom there. Oh, I can go in a little bit closer. So as you can see, they're stuck together into pairs of 2. Right, so now you've got your 3 sets of 2. Just put some glue on where they're going to join, and then you push the first 2 together, and then some glue on either side of these ones so you can push in your last set of 2. And then just pop a little bit of glue on top, in between where the pieces meet, and then as it's drying the glue will seep down into the tiny little gaps and it will hold it together. Don't worry about it showing up, because it'll dry clear, and then once it's done I'm going to be putting some flat back pearls onto my flowers, but I'm going to do that all in one go. But that's what they turn out like, so you need to make yourself a bunch of those. So the next flower we're going to make is this little pink one here. It's very simple to make all these flowers, but I'm just giving you a quick rundown on how you do it. Each of these need 5 petals, and one petal uses 1/2 of a strip, and you need to create a loose coil to start with. And just lay it to the size you want it to be. a little dot of glue on the end. And then just pinch it at the bottom. So we've got a tiny teardrop. So you need 5 of those all together. So as you can see, I've made a few. And then when you're sticking them together, all you need to do is, like we've done on the purple flower, just put some glue on either side of where it's going to meet the next petal and push them up so they meet in the middle. It's hard to do these up in the air, so that's why I'm keeping them flat. But once you've got it in place and it's slightly tacky, you can move them a little bit, but I prefer to leave them flat so that they can dry in the position that I want them. And then on the last one, put it on either side of the tool that's going to be touching it, and then pop them together like this. They're not difficult at all. And again, like on the purple one, you can just pop a little glue on where the petals meet, and it will soak down in between the strips of paper, and it will dry completely clear, and then you'll end up with little flowers that are just like this. So you want to create yourself a bunch of those, and I'll show you the next one. Right, so the last thing that I'm going to show you to make our decorated mirror are just little scrolls. I have done a separate video on these, but I'm just going to do a quick review of them and taster. So I'm just taking one full strip and I'm going to be cutting it into sections. Now out of one strip I'm going to be getting 2 scrolls. I'm folding it in half and then cutting. Folding in half and cutting again. And one more time. And cutting. Now for each scroll I'm using 4 pieces of the strip, but you can use more. It's just these are what I'm using for, like sort of filling in little blank areas. So if you want to take your 4 even pieces of strip, just put some glue at one end. Now because this is going to be too thick to go into your quilling tool, you can use a pokey tool or a pair of tweezers, which is what I'm going to be using. Just take your tweezers once you've got your end all pressed together, and then just want to curl it all the way up. This gives it some good curl. And then just let go. Then take tweezers out. And then if this bit in the middle is not quite as curled as you want it to be, just you can use your fingers. And see, just get like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start with the inside strips of the first one and then pull downwards so it separates the strip from the other ones. Just move them, you can see a little bit there. And then you want to take the next one behind it and pull that one down. If you pull it too far, you can easily push it back up. Then to the next one, pull it down, and then you can adjust the outside one if necessary. Then just put a little bit of glue between each of the tails of the strip. Put it down, and then you've got your scroll. So I'll do that one more time. You don't need to see me doing loads of these ones, it'll be very tedious. Okay. There we go. I think I've cut them a bit wonky, but you won't be able to tell. Again, just gluing up the end. Okay. 8 tweezers and hold them tight and curl. Okay. Like go. And pull them off with tweezers. Okay, so if you get them like this, so if you start with the inside one first and pull that one down, let's curl that a bit further round. If you're using more strips, then obviously you get more colour in between the scrolls. It just depends on how full you want them to look. You can stick them together and things, but I'll link my video below and then you'll be able to see how I've done them in more depth. So I'm pulling that one down again. Oh, got two there. Down. And you can always push this out, this last one up a bit if it's too far down. Just get it how you want it. And that's just how you make your scrolls. Now when you're doing them, you can stick them like this or back to back. You can do a whole row of them. Me, I'm just using them as filler for inside the spaces where there's no flowers and things. So I'm just going to go and make a few more of these, and then I'll come back and we'll put it all together. Right, so I've got all the flowers made, and if you watch my other quilling tutorials, I've shown you how to make some of these flowers using the quilling dies that you can buy. So I've got a nice selection of different flowers in different colours, and my plan is to decorate just one side of the mirror. As you can see, it's quite a small mirror, but I just got it from the pick from. It just needs to be, you know, any mirror or a picture frame if that's what you want to do. So what I'm going to use is Collal 3D glue gel to stick them all down, and I'm just going to arrange them as I go. You can plan them out and everything, but then you've got to remember where you put them and stuff, so I work better just as I'm going. It looks like I've got some dried glue in my tube. There we go. So I'm just going to take little bits. But you could use a hot glue gun, they will dry quicker, but then if you decide that you want it somewhere else, you've not got as much wiggle time to move them around. Whereas this, it can take a couple of hours for this to fully dry. So I'm putting the ones that have got the flat bases on first. These are the quilling dies that I've done. I'll put the link for the tutorial. Right, I'll swap tubes. I think this one's just normal silicone glue, pretty much the same thing as the other one, but this one's got a bit of a smell to it. Okay. And these have been in storage for a little while since I've done the tutorial, so I'm just spacing out the petals. Okay. Another thing I should have mentioned is just make sure that you've got your hanger the right way up, whichever way that you're doing it. I've just had a bit of a panic then thinking, oh, I didn't check. But yeah, just make sure that your hanger's facing the right way that you actually want it to be, and then you'll be okay. As you can see my husband's got the camera in the mirror. I shall try and avoid my face in the mirror at all costs. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to speed this up and just put in the majority of the arranging, because you don't need to watch in real time because that will be very, very boring. But I shall speed it up and then I'll come back to you once I've done with the flowers and I'll show you the next. I'm just going back in now because I've just decided that I'm going to do the entire surface area, because I think I've made quite a lot of flowers, so I don't want them being wasted. So I'm just going to spread these apart. So see, if I used a glue gun, I wouldn't have been able to do this. So I'm just going to pick the ones up that I just want moving, and then I can put the other ones in between them. So I'll go back to letting you just listen. So all the flowers are stuck on now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use all the leaves and things that I've got in between to just fill out any of the gaps that are there. So I've got leaves and scrolls that I've made. All the leaves I've done in previous tutorials, so if you want to learn how to make those, I'll link them below. So I'm just wanting to find a place for them, and I thought this would be the perfect place to use them. So I'll start off with the scrolls that I've shown you how to make today. Let's go. So I'm just putting glue down the edges of these. And we can sort of weave them in and out of the flowers. To do that. Sort of fill in the spots. Plus this is a mirror that's got like bumps on it. It's not perfectly straight for me to stick bits on, so I've had to add extra glue to certain pieces and that, just so that they'll fit as to where I want them. You can cut the length of the scrolls down if you don't want the full length of it on. You can even have them coming upwards out of it, but I'm just going to keep them going on the sides. So I'm just going to do this again, just put some music on, speed it up as fast as I can so it's not too painful for you, and I'll be okay. So I've got my flowers and scrolls and leaves all stuck on, and it's all fully dry now. The camera finished before I got it all done, but you didn't even see me putting all of it on. As you can see, on some of the flowers I've put little gems, these little flat back gems, or pearls, whatever you want to call them, and they were just basically these. You can get them everywhere. Flat back pearls or flat back gems, I think they're called both online if you're searching online. Or you could use the shiny ones if you want, or if not, you could just, if you've got some beads, you could use some beads to put a centre in. But I'm really happy with how it's turned out. It's lovely and vibrant, and it will definitely perk up wherever it goes. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that. see my camera again. If you've liked it, if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be appreciated. And if you've not subscribed yet, if you would consider subscribing, that would be appreciated too. So thanks for watching, I'll see you next time. Bye.